Shalom, everybody. Welcome to TBT. Welcome to the new sanctuary. If this is your first time being here since the renovation. It's good to see everybody here together to celebrate this momentous trifecta of events, Shabbat, Shavuot, and the confirmation of these three wonderful young people sitting right behind me. They're going to be leading the service today alongside us, and you can all participate and help make the service the joyful, beautiful experience and milestone that we know it will be. So we'll begin with just the words Shabbat Shalom. That easy. Shabbat of peace should be with us. I also invite everybody to please silence your cell phones if you haven't already done that at this time. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shir HaMakor Shalom Adonai Eshirat Zion Shabbat Shalom, and I've got the hang of it now. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Well, I don't know about you, but when I think about Shavuot, this spring pilgrimage holiday, I think about the Ten Commandments and Mount Sinai, because that's the traditional association between the holidays. And when you think of Mount Sinai, you probably think of the Charlton Heston movie, right? With all of the pyrotechnics. It says in the Torah that there was a great shofar that was sounded, and there was fire and lightning, and all of these sounds and sights and smells which interwove in very complex, mystical ways. Well, all of that may very well be true, but there's also an opportunity to think about Revelation in a gentler way. And so I'm grateful to Susan, who gave me this poem from the modern poet Alden Soloway, and it's called God on Tiptoes. He writes, what if God arrived unannounced? No smoke, no thunder, a gentle appearance of radiance and love. What if God snuck in on tiptoes? No earthquake, no blast of the shofar, a luminous presence of wonder and glory. What if God's voice whispered in your ear so quietly that you had to hold your breath to hear? A silent surrender of hope and faith. What if holiness packed the empty space with light as your lungs filled with the one divine breath, together with every other living being? What if God's voice was as near as your willingness to listen quietly to the soul of the universe, as a sense of calm and peace passes through you? What if that moment is now? When Shabbat and Shavuot meet, it's a chance for us to think of some of the greatest stories of our people, of the journey to the mountaintop, but also the still small voice, where we feel the moments of spiritual connection in very humble ways. And both can be true, of course, and both are here as we celebrate this joyful milestone together. I'd invite everybody at this time to perhaps find somebody sitting near you haven't yet said Shabbat Shalom to, and take a moment to greet them. And in a minute, we'll invite the confirmation moms to light the candles. Sarah, Lizzie, and Kim, if you would like to come up at this time, we'll light the candles for Shavuot and for Shabbat on page 384. I invite everybody to follow along in your blue siddur, your blue prayer book. We turn back now to the Kabbalat Shabbat service because we have so many things to celebrate tonight. We have a few different services. So we're on page 130. 130. If you have a blue book with brackets in it, look at those brackets. If you don't have any brackets, don't worry about it. Let us sing out the song of praise and joy before our Creator. Let's try that together.
Turn to page 160.
Hashamayim. Hashamayim. Ismechu Hashamayim. V'tayeh. We'll repeat that. Ismechu Hashamayim. Ismechu Hashamayim. Hashamayim. Ismechu Hashamayim. V'tayeh haaretz. Yirayam. 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 Yirayam.
Turn to page 138.
And it's the custom in our congregation to sing verses 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8 of the Chadrodi, and we stand at the very last verse. We stand at verse 9. I think I said it wrong. 1, 2, 3, 5, 9. 1, 2, 3, 5, 9. We stand and we face to the entrance of the building to symbolically welcome Shabbat into our midst. Verse 5, We rise and face the entrance to the building. Sounds great. I'll have to see everybody. Except for Peter Jordan. Peter. I know, you didn't expect to be coming up so soon. Does everybody know that, please, everybody know that it's a big day for the Chorney family for a couple of reasons. Okay, so this was my idea. When I found out that it was Peter's birthday tomorrow, I couldn't let him get out of getting a special present. So if you have to blame anyone, blame me.
Definitely his fault.
Why don't you come to the microphone? And I'm just curious before we do this, you know, your family has a long history in this congregation. You've seen a lot of different versions of prayer and gathering in this space. What does it feel like to you today to be back at this bima in this space?
Pretty amazing. Just how beautiful it is. And also, my youngest son being here for confirmation. It's really great occasion.
I couldn't agree more. I'm glad you feel that way. And it's great to see so many of your family members here tonight to celebrate many occasions. One of the occasions of which being your 50th birthday, which is tomorrow. And who would believe it? Right?
Still in my 40s.
Keep telling yourself that. As long as you need to. Because it's your birthday. That's true. So we're going to give you this special blessing. I can read a part of it and then you can read the second part if you'd like. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shenatan mechokmato lebasar v'adam. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You give of your wisdom to flesh and blood. Author of life, our times are in your hand. We thank you for the blessing of life, for everything that enriches our lives. We turn to you now on this special evening in special gratitude to share the happiness of Peter Chorney, who together with his family is marking his 50th birthday. Be with him now, be with him always. May he continue to be blessed with good health and happiness, with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow. And we certainly honor Peter together with other Chorney family members who are so ingrained here at TVT and give so much to our congregation, including our new confirmand as of tonight. So be with him, be with them, be with our sacred community, and we pray that each day will bring to Peter and his family an abundance of blessing. We can read this part together. Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah.
You've sustained me these many years and brought me to this place in my life's journey. Let me look out with wisdom from the high ground of my years' experiences over the terrain of my life. Let me gaze out toward the past and the future with a heightened sense of your presence as my guide. Let me see that growth is not reserved for any one season, and that love and fulfillment are not the exclusive provinces of the young. As I celebrate reaching this moment, I am grateful for the continued unfolding of my life. pray that kindness and compassion may be on my lips, that strength and courage may be with me in my comings and goings, and that I may continue to learn from and to teach those dear to me. O God, my creator, as you are the first and the last, may my life ever be a song of praise to you.
Adonai, Mibarech Hashanim. We praise you, God, who blesses the years.
Amen.
Mazel tov. That's true. I believe Olivia Mervine Schiff has a thing or two that she can say about the Jubilee after the service. Isn't that right, Liv? Jubilee year. And on Shavuot, right, the 50th day after the 49th. It's like it's all coming together for us today, right? Sophie, would you like to lead us in Mariv? Yeah, and by the way, I should say before she gets started, as she settles in, that throughout this evening, all of our wonderful confirmation students are going to have a chance to share a few words to talk about their spiritual journeys. So the first one of those will happen in this section of the service, where we'll hear from Aiden and from Hannah a little bit later.
Please rise and turn to page 394 for the bar. Are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the season, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Praise are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Turn to page 400. Please be seated.
Page 402. Hashem Elohim Tzadcha, Hayom Advatecha, V'shinatam Levanecha, V'divartam, V'shivtecha V'veitecha, V'lechtecha V'derech, V'shoftecha V'kumecha, V'shavtam Le'ot Hayatecha, V'hayu Totafot Eineinecha, U'taftam Al Mizuzot Beitecha, U'v'yisharecha, L'ma'am tizkeru, V'asitem et kol mitzvotai, V'yitem kedoshim Elohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem.
Hello all, Shabbat Shalom. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Aiden Chorney. I'm so grateful that you are all joining Hannah, Sophie, and myself as we complete this rite of passage and take our next steps into Jewish adulthood. It is an honor to stand before you on this momentous occasion of our confirmation service. This milestone marks a significant moment in all of our lives as we continue to deepen our understanding and our connection to our heritage and step into the world of adulthood. Today's confirmation service represents a critical juncture in my life as a Jewish young adult. It is a time for myself to reflect on the past, present, and future, and to reaffirm my commitment to Judaism. At this age, I have grown and matured, and I am ready to take on a more active role in the Temple Beth Tikvah and Shoreline communities. It is hard to believe that today is the culmination of my 8 years of hard work at TBT. I can certainly say that it has not been easy to learn Hebrew, become a bar mitzvah, or will myself out of bed at 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings. However, I am beyond grateful for the values and the identity that my Jewish journey has instilled in me. It is funny to stand at this bima and chant Torah once again for the first time since my bar mitzvah, which was over 3.5 years ago. Looking back, I remember standing here mounting my shaky, sweaty hands on this exact same podium. I can certainly say that I have grown tremendously since that day, and I'm very proud of the way that I have developed my own sense of individuality and character. This year, in our confirmation class, we emphasize the importance of understanding our Jewish identities. As an interfaith child who celebrates both Christian and Jewish holidays, I have had a unique journey learning to embrace my family's traditions and being raised Jewish. In one of our weekly confirmation classes this year, we participated in an activity where we elected 7 words that describe our Jewish identities. Before looking around the room and picking out my 7 words, one came to the top of my mind: community. The community at TBT is what continually draws me back to Judaism, and it is what I love about coming to religious school and Friday night services. I feel incredibly fortunate to be so connected and always be able to spot a friendly face when I'm at TBT. Growing up here with Sophie, Anna, and so many other Jewish teens has truly been a privilege and given me friendships that I will cherish when I reminisce on my years of religious school. Looking back at this year of my confirmation, I I'm so glad that I decided to continue on my Jewish journey and become confirmed. For the first time in my experience at TBT, I feel like I have truly embraced my faith and the responsibilities that come with it. As a child, when I begrudgingly agreed to come with my dad to Shabbat services, one thing that always fascinated me was the box of yarmulkes we keep outside the sanctuary. I would dig my small, eager hands into the bucket and read the names of every bar and bat mitzvah that I could find. Recently, I found one of my very own kippahs in that bucket, and it caused me to reflect on the legacy that I'm leaving behind me during my few years left in Madison and at TBT. Growing into an adult doesn't only mean becoming taller and stronger than your father. It means that you begin to question these nuances that I would have previously overlooked. Leaving my mark on this community is something that I will continue striving for, and I can't wait to soak up the time I have left. I would like to say a big happy birthday to the one person that I would absolutely not be here without, which is my father. I'm so grateful that you introduced me to TBT and allowed Noah and I to become part of this special community. My achievements, like completing religious school, becoming bar mitzvah, and now becoming confirmed, have taught me so much about myself and given me the values and beliefs that I can tap into for the rest of my life. I can't wait to pass on our faith to my children and continue exploring my own sense of faith as I venture out into the world around me. Thank you, Dad, for always giving me the push I needed to come back and for being someone who inspires me with your work ethic, loyalty, and integrity. I would like to say a big thank you to Dr. Casorla and to Mrs. Sharp for allowing me to help out in the religious school classrooms and for their role in making my year of confirmation so significant. Additionally, I would like to say a ginormous thank you to Rabbi Moss and to all my fellow classmates for all the laughs we've had together, and more importantly, for helping me learn and grow as a Jewish teen. Looking to the future, I'm so excited to continue to explore Judaism and its meanings and relevance in my own life, while leaving my mark on TBT and the shoreline. Thank you.
Yes, I've been informed by these three that the couch in my office that they've been sitting on all year for our confirmation class cannot transfer to the next confirmation class. It is now their couch. So I guess we'll have to figure out a way to preserve it for them.
Please turn to page 406 for the week of Hanukkah. And this is our song of freedom. So if you feel like you want to get up and dance, go ahead.
All right. I like that. Two, three, four. And the wind is dancing in the tent. Oh, let's all try singing and the wind. Here we go. So if nobody stood up, but I saw a lot of dancing in seats. And I think you're just one step away from convincing them to dance around this whole thing.
Please turn to page 480 and join us in the
Shabbat Shalom. My Jewish identity was greatly shaped by my maternal grandparents. They taught me so many Jewish customs and traditions for Shabbat, the high holidays, Purim, Pesach, and Hanukkah. Some of my fondest memories include going to the kosher butcher in Westville, learning to bake hamantashen, and using special finger puppets to learn about the Arkansas Seder play during Passover. I enjoyed going to services with my grandparents and learning the many Hebrew songs that they love to sing. When I was in second grade, I started attending religious school at Beth Tikvah. My mom started teaching third grade at CBC that same year and has been teaching ever since. I was able to see how important it was to her, and it became important to me too. It was really nice to make meaningful connections with other Jewish kids, since I don't have the opportunity at school in my town. I'm so glad that I met Aiden and Sophie, and that we had the chance to celebrate the B'nai Mitzvahs and go on a trip to New York City. On our first trip, I learned the harsh things my ancestors went through, such as living in 300 square feet apartments called tenements. We got to visit the tenement museum and see what it would have been like to live in those conditions. I learned how the Jews in New York would still find time to pray in a new country and go to the synagogue. We got to see the beautiful and historic Eldridge Street Synagogue. During our visit, I learned how the woman had to sit in the balcony above the men during services. I also thought it was interesting that the temple members had assigned seats, and they knew who the richest families were by where they seats were located. The COVID-19 pandemic greatly impacted my Jewish journey because after a lot of tutoring, my family made the difficult decision to not have my bar mitzvah because I couldn't all be together. Therefore, this confirmation service is important to me because it symbolizes my rite of passage into Jewish adulthood. Throughout this pandemic experience, I've learned that relationships and togetherness are really most important to me.
you, Hannah. And here I was thinking that 300 square feet in New York City was just my student apartment in Brooklyn. But it's a lot different when there are 6 people and it's also your place of work. That was an interesting tool, wasn't it?
Yes, definitely. Please rise and turn to page 468 for the Amidah.
Okay, I'll add here that I realized that perhaps some of you have the thinner volume, which doesn't have the holiday service in it. Sorry if that's the one you got. If so, it's almost exactly the same section if you turn back in the prayer book to the Shabbat evening Amidah with just a few differences. So that's on page 174, if I remember correctly. 168, 170.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Yafet, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Haggadol, Hagibor HaTorah, Elyon, Omer Chasadim Tovim, Bechonei Hakol, Bezocher Haseh Avotei Ma'oz, Umegilulah B'kneihem, Leman Shemo Be'amah, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Makim, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magid Avraham, V'Yitzchak Tzavah. Atani Borei Adonai, Mechayei Hakol Atara L'Moshiach, Moli'im Atara, Mechayer Ha'anim B'Chesed, Mechayei Hakol B'Rachamim, Tzolech Noflim V'Rofech Olim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mechayei Mishenei Mitamocha Ba'abeturot U'Midrot Melchim Tzomachayei U'Mashiach Yeshua Baruch Atah Adonai
Please turn to page 478. You have chosen us in love and favor by making us holy through your mitzvot and drawing us close to your service, that through us your great and holy name may become known in all the earth. In your love, Adonai our God, you have given us Shabbatot of rest, feasts of gladness, and seasons of joy. This Shabbat day and this festival of Shavuot, season of receiving our Torah, to unite in worship and recall the exodus from Egypt.
Page 480, we continue together. Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Ya'aleh v'Yavo v'Yizacher z'Tzivoneinu v'Zichron kol Amcha v'et Yisrael lefanecha, v'tova alecheinu chesed v'rachamim v'chaim v'shalom, v'yom chag haShavuot hazeh. Here we can read this part together. Our God and God of our ancestors, be mindful of your people Israel, and recall our merit for good and grace, and in loving kindness and compassion, for life and peace, on this festival of Shavuot. Zofreinu Adonai Eloheinu bo letovah, v'fokteinu bo livracha, v'oshienu bo l'chaim. Amen. We ask God, remember us for well-being, and bless us with your nearness, and help us live a fuller life.
Amen.
Continue with a few moments of silent prayer.
Please turn to page 488.
Shalom, Israel, see. Shalom, Israel, see. Ki ata Shalom, Israel, see. The Torah Israel, to see. Shalom, Israel, to see. Tasi,
Shabbat Shalom. I am so excited to be entering this new chapter of my Judaism today and being alongside Hannah and Aiden, the two people who stuck it out with me through all of these years in Hebrew school is so amazing. We have really been through it all together, and I'm so happy we have become as close as we are as a class. As a lot of you know, my bat mitzvah was taken over by COVID, and I had to split it into two parts, the service on Zoom and the party a year later. I'm not gonna lie, having to rearrange every aspect of this special day did take away some of the joy I've been feeling as I prepared for my Jewish adulthood, and I was pretty done with all of it. But of course, when you have a mom who's the temple president at the time and a sister who's already gone through the confirmation process, it's hard not to have to come back to Hebrew. Looking back on all of it now, I'm so happy I did because I feel like I've really changed my outlook on Judaism since then. A couple months ago, Aiden mentioned this earlier, Rabbi Moss had us do an activity in confirmation class where we had to choose 7 out of maybe 40 words that he gave us to most describe what Judaism means to us. Before my bat mitzvah, I would have chosen words that relate to the strictly religious part of Judaism, like commandments, Torah, or God. But instead, I found myself immediately choosing terms like community, tradition, and being part of an extended family. This really got me thinking about the reasons I chose those words and what has gotten my perspective to change. So I came up with a few to share with you all. If you know me at all, you know that this past year I've gotten super involved in Salty, the shoreline branch of the B'nai B'rith Youth Organization, or BBYO. I know Aiden and Hannah are aware of this because I talk about it nonstop at confirmation class, and when I'm not talking about it to them in person, I'm texting them about what our next event is so they can come. I usually force them to come. I started to go to all of BBYO's regional conventions with Jewish teens from all around Connecticut, and even attended an international convention in February with Jewish teens from all around the world. I attended a BBYO summer camp last year where I felt my love for Judaism and the friends it's given me grow with every song circle, Shabbat service, and bonfire. Okay, so now you know that I'm a little too obsessed with BBYO, but it honestly has reshaped the way I think about Judaism, and I want every teen in TBT to have the same experience I've had. And if this speech doesn't convince Aiden to join, I don't know. Shifting gears, another word I chose during this activity was anti-Semitism. When I thought about it, I chose this word for the same reasons, because it made me think of Judaism as a community, just in a different way. Let me explain what I mean. This year, I attended the anti-Semitism seminar that was put on by the ADL in Guildford. I showed up not really knowing what to expect, but was met with a jam-packed room with people I knew and some I didn't, who all had the same experiences with anti-Semitism as me. When we took turns sharing our personal stories, I realized how connected I felt to these people, this time not just because they were Jewish, but because they understood things that my school friends and classmates wouldn't. Preventing anti-Semitism is something I feel very passionate about. And growing up without a lot of Jewish friends, it's hard to feel like everybody understands how big of a problem this still is in the world. But having all these fellow Jews around me who had such similar stories, it made me feel a lot less alone. My most recent experience with the feeling of Jewish community was during our confirmation trip to NYC just a few weeks ago, where we visited what used to be the Jewish Lower East Side. We stopped at a Jewish deli where I ate babka French toast. Yes, you heard me right, chocolate babka made into French toast. So I know a good lunch might be a really strange thing to make me feel connected to Judaism, but walking around a place where with so many fellow Jews who wanted to learn about Jewish history and eat Jewish foods was something I had never experienced anywhere else in my life. To see an old temple and old tenement buildings where so many Jewish people used to live, it reminded me that finding comfort in a Jewish community is not a new thing. Jews have been shaping communities for centuries, and now I know why. All three of these examples prove to me that there was a bigger group I belonged to outside of my small Hebrew school class, my small town, and even outside of the United States. The connections I've made with the people I've met through all these different programs were so much more meaningful than any others, and I can now proudly say that Judaism is so much more than a religion to me. I would love to do that work picking activity with Rabbi Moss in another 5 or 10 years, because I am sure by that point, my 7 words will be very different again. What Judaism means in each of our lives is always changing, and even the smallest of things can change your perspective on the meaning behind it. But the one thing I know for sure is that whether it's my BBYO summer camp friends from Denver, my Jewish friend from Finland, the teens in Salty, the people serving me vodka French toast, or just the people on the beam with me right now, I have found my forever family through Judaism, and for that, I'm so thankful. I am also so thankful for the people who got me to this point in my Jewish journey. Dr. C, thank you for helping lead the service with your amazing voice and always being the welcoming face we see on Sunday mornings. To my parents, thank you for making me one of the 3 kids that stayed through it all, because I secretly had so much fun. You guys are my role models in everything I do, and I couldn't do any of this without you. And finally, Rabbi Moss, thank you for being the incredible teacher you are. Your corny jokes and endless knowledge has made this year so great. I truly can't wait to continue my Jewish journey into adulthood. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
How about these 3 young people? We're not going to bottle up the couch to preserve it. We're going to keep you around here, because that's, I mean, this is the stuff our community is made of. And that's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. Those of you who came to our Zoom Shavuot candle lighting and Taste of Torah last night, you heard me give a brief little teaching from the Kotzker Rebbe, who is one of the great Hasidic masters. And he asked the question about Shavuot. He says, why do we call it Zman Matan Toratenu, which means the time of the giving of the Torah? Wouldn't it make more sense to call it the time of the receiving of the Torah? Because it was, after all, us who went up that mountain, that was Moses, and brought it back down to the people who received it. That's what we did. But he responds to that. While Torah was given once, and that's what we commemorate on this day, it is received over and over and over and over again throughout the lives of our people and throughout your lives. That's why those 7 words are going to change every time you get back up to that wall. I'm going to have to redecorate my office now to have those engraved there permanently, perhaps. Although honestly, even those words are probably going to need to change as Judaism changes too, right? And so that's what Torah is. Torah is received in an unfolding, never-ending chain and links scenario. When you were saying a moment ago, actually all of you talked about what this moment sort of means for you in relation to your bar mitzvah experience. So you know that we have different traditions here, one of which is passing the Torah generationally down the line, from usually grandparents and parents to you, into your arms. And this is a moment where you're taking a step, all 3 of you, in saying that you have grasped it and that you're really ready for it. And that's not something that every 12 or 13-year-old is ready to do, but you are all ready to do that. And that makes me very, very happy and very, very proud. The next thing that's going to happen is our Torah service. And I believe Dr. C has a special presentation for the holiday connected to the Torah service.
So about a millennium ago, during the time of Rashi, the Cantor of Worms wrote this absolutely beautiful, but incredibly long, 11 pages printed out, piyut. A piyut is a song of praise. And one of the reasons he wrote it is because in the Second Temple period, the Torah was chanted as we chanted in Hebrew, but because the lingua franca was Aramaic, it was translated into Aramaic as it was being chanted, generally by priests in the area. And so he wrote this piyut in Aramaic, which means that unless you've been studying Aramaic, you're only going to kind of catch some of it. But I thought that I would give you a little bit of what it says in English. This is a piyut that is designed especially for the time that we are in now, Shavuot, the celebration of receiving these amazing books. So it starts before reciting the 10 Commandments. commandments. I first ask permission and approval to start with 2 or 3 stanzas in fear, 44 stanzas, my friends. Of God who creates and ever sustains, he has endless might, not to be described, where the sky is parchment, where all the reeds quills, where the seas and all waters made of ink, where all the world's inhabitants made scribes. And it goes on from there. הקדמות מילים ושריות שותם, אז לשקרנה הרמנו פשוטם. בבבי תרי ותלת דווקך בנקשותם, בברי דברי ותרי עדי לקשישותם. גבוהן עלמין לבלה ספק רשותה, גבילי לו וקיי כנה כל חושתה. דיו הילו ימי וחולמך נשותה, דרי ארעה ספרי ורשמי השבתה. הדר מרי שניה ושליט בבישתה, הקיים עלמה יחידאו ובחבשותה. And it really does go on from there. It's quite beautiful. You should check it out. You can find it on Safaria, actually.
Thank you so much, Dr. C, and thank you for reminding us of the special haunting and lilting festival melody that comes back 3 times during the year at the festivals of Sukkot and Passover. And here at Shavuot, that's also the melody that we use to sing our Kiddush after the service ends, which will be out in the social. For now, I invite everybody to please rise as we open the Ark and bring Torah into our presence with great joy.
Sure. I believe it's Torah B'Don Gemilut Chasidim. I might be wrong.
All right, so there is a tradition. There is a tradition that we stand for the recitation of the Ten Commandments. If it's not comfortable for you, you do not have to stay standing. But if you wish to observe that tradition, you are of course more than welcome to do so. I will say that also any pre-B'nai Mitzvah kids who are here and want to come see the way the Ten Commandments are written in the Torah, you can come up and see for yourself if you want. Okay, I'm going to extend that invitation if you want to be part of it. It's a very special Torah reading. It's a very special part of the Torah. And if you'd like to follow along, you can turn to the red book. The red book has the Torah text in it. It's the Eitz Chaim Torah commentary. And you can turn to page 442. Page 442. You guys can stand right behind. See for yourself. Yeah, come on. Don't be afraid. That's going to be you up here not too long from now. For sixth graders, right? Okay, pretty cool. These are the 10 commandments. Although that's really a Christian designation. It's not at all clear that there are 10 of them, but frequently it's been counted that way. So here's one popular counting of the 10 commandments. I am the eternal your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, of the house of bondage. 2, you shall have no other gods before me. Come with me. It's not time to make any mistakes, okay? 3, you shall not take the name of the eternal your God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Shabbat. Honor your father and mother so that your days may be long upon the land which the eternal God gives you. You can look and see your mother and father, you know where Jewish guilt originated. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house or anything that is your neighbor's. How many is that? They lost count. Those are the 10. Feel free to follow along in the text on page 442. Our class, our confirmation class, will have the honor of the Aliyah. Amdu, Chana Margalit Bat Riva Sarah, Adid Ben Pinchas de Kimberly, Shira Eliana Bat Sarah Bamelech, Aliyat HaTorah.
Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan manu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai, noten ha'Torah. Amen. Anochi Adonai Elohecha Asher Hotzeiticha me'eretz Mitzrayim mibeit avadim Lo yeyelecha Elohim acherim al panai Lo ta'aseh lecha chesed V'chol temunah asher b'shamayim mimal v'asher ba'aretz mitachat v'asher b'mayim mitachat la'aretz
תשתחווה לכם, ולא תאותם, כי אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך אלקנה פוקד אבות על בנים, על שילשים ועל רגעים, לשונאי, ועושה חסד לאלפים, לאוהבי ולשומרי מצוותיי. לא תישא את שם אדוני אלוהיך לשווא, כי לא ינקה אדוני את אשר יישא את שמו לשווא.
זכור את יום השבת לקדשו, ששת ימים תעבוד, ועשית כל מלאכתך ביום השביעי, שבת לאדוני אלוהיך, לא תעשה כל מלאכה אתה ובנך ובתך, עבדך ואמתך ובהמתך, וגרך אשר בשעריך, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, את הים ואת כל אשר בם, וינח ביום השביעי. על כן ברוך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו, כבד את אביך ואת אמך, למען יאריכון ימיך על האדמה אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן בה.
לא תרצח, לא תינוק, לא תינוק, לא תענג רעך יתשקר, לא תגמול את רעך, לא תגמול איש את רעך, ועבדו ואמתו בשוכבו ובחמלו, בכל אשר
אשר נתן תורת אמת, לחיי עולם עשה בתוכנו, ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
O Israel. O Israel.
Yeah, sure. Everyone go have a seat with your family. We can all have a seat, guys. presence of our Sefer Torah, we'll recite a Mishaberach, a prayer for healing for those in need within our community, within our families, all those who we hold in our hearts. Think of this moment, those within our congregation who are in need of healing of mind, body, or spirit. They include April D'Amato, Norma Diamond, Ann Karamanis, Josh Lipschitz, Hetty Sussman, Mark Warner, Eric Manis, Larry Pepper, and Froman Davis. And we also think of our loved ones, Barak Yaakov and Abraham Basara, Tamar Bat Rachel, Rav Chaim Ben Leah, Connie Ambrosino, Nikki Bart, Jay Fliss, Michelle Rusinko, Dick Schaefer, Joanne Crisula, Jack Dock, Bart Young, Mark Ostreicher, Matthew Pincus, Soraya Casey, Joan Shapiro Green, Marvin Goldberg, Florence Harf, John Van Steenbergen, Monica Caposiello, Faye Young, Paul Frisman, Bruce Petroff, Stephanie Maurer Smith, Raymond Wolf, Kim Weeder, Tim Maurer, Palma Posey, Gloria Newell, Sabine Meyer, Carol Bartlett, Adrian Wasserman, Trevor Jones, Peter David, Kevin Susi, Emily Berry, Dee Garabo, Davis Chamberlain, and Maureen Victor. There are others who we should bring to mind at this time. I invite you to please share their names with our community if you would like, or else hold them, of course, in your heart. Any of those of you who are on Zoom can also add your loved one's name into the chat at this time if you wish. Prayers for healing, guys. Carol Robb.
Myron and Joan Katz.
Myra Joan Katz. Diane Panassi. Turn now to the Misha Berach, which can be found on the song sheet sitting on your chair, or perhaps a chair near to you. Please feel free to join along.
Bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your word. Let your hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. We shall never Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Shalach Yimotenu, Savali, Aleach V'Nachem. May the Lord bless our families. May the Lord bless our fathers. We are praying. Bless us as well.
Now prepare to lift and dress the Torah. So we'll call forward Mark Schiff and Peter Chorney. Ya'amdu hamagbiya v'hagolel. Please rise.
Let's go,
You can have a seat, everybody. I just want to say two things more to our confirmants right now. And then I'll have a few things to say individually to you up here too. But essentially the message of Shavuot is the same as the message of this point in your Jewish life, which is why it's, I think, quite a great choice that the founders of Reform Judaism made this ceremony, decided that it should happen at this time. There's two models of our orientation to Torah in the two different texts that we read at this special occasion. One of which we just read is the 10 Commandments, right? The 10 Commandments, well, there's not a lot of ambiguity in what kind of a thing it is. It's a commandment. There is no choice. It is what you do or else. But on the other hand, there's another great Shavuot text, which some of you know. This would be in Rabbi's trivia contest or on your Kahoot quiz confirmation for your JCheck Kahoot quiz. Okay, and what scroll do we read? What from the writings, the Hebrew writings, do we read at Shavuot? We read from the book of? Exactly, we read from the book of Ruth. Who got that? Was that Judy? Very nice. We read from the book of Ruth, which is one of the lesser known and truly beautiful short stories in the Hebrew Bible. It's about a woman named Ruth who follows her mother-in-law to Judah, which is not her homeland, after her husband has died. And she isn't Jewish, but she chooses a Jewish life. There's a very moving line when she follows her mother-in-law and decides to opt into everything that means and leave behind everything that she was and had before that. And she said, I would never leave you. Wherever you go, I will go too. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. From that day forward, Ruth was a Jew for all intents and purposes. And tradition would say this was the first conversion ceremony, perhaps. the first conversion in the Hebrew Bible, even though it doesn't say it explicitly so. And not only that, but then generations to come, Ruth would actually be the great-great-grandparent of King David, from whose line supposedly, traditionally, the Messiah comes. So if that's not pretty esteemed lineage and a pretty high elevation of the experience of conversion and choice, I don't know what is. So really, confirmands, those are the two things, the two texts, those are the two big ideas. Commandment from Torah, do it or else, and choice. But the truth is that we know that in the modern world, there is no Jewish living without choice. All of us who are modern people make choices all the time, not just about being Jewish, but about everything else. And the sense of being commanded, being pressured into doing something because it is what God said, it just has less cachet to a lot of people these days than it used to. And maybe that's a good thing, because it means that what we choose, when we choose it thoughtfully and intentionally, has perhaps even greater weight. The consequences of our decisions matter much more when we make them thoughtfully and are not coerced into them, which is one reason that the rabbis actually worry a lot about the Sinai moment. They say, was this covenant actually happening in real time as an assent to the mutual agreement? They actually, there's a source in the Talmud that says that at the moment when they were underneath the mountain, it says in the text, what happened is God picked up the mountain and held it over their heads and said, if you accept the Torah, that's great, but if not, I'm going to drop this on you. I think that shows a little bit of a window into the neuroses of feeling commanded if you're a Talmudic rabbi, right? So when you're a modern Jew in the modern world and you have to decide what you feel commanded and compelled to do, it's a great responsibility, but it's also a deeper responsibility. In my opinion, actually requires more learning, more knowledge, more commitment, more responsibility to know what to do. Sophie, as you mentioned in your speech, we live in a world where anti-Semitism is unfortunately on the rise, it seems, and where the issues that your generation is dealing with are not even the same as what my generation was dealing with. So when we're in the space of Jewish choice, of feeling a relationship to commandments, Torah, obligations, whatever we call them, at this point, you're making that decision for yourself. This is the last moment formally of your Jewish childhood. That's the way that I see it anyway. This is the last moment where, you know, your Jewish religious life is dictated primarily by others. It will always be connected to others because community and family are so deep in Judaism. But this is the time at which you really are taking more of your own responsibility and making more of your own choices, affirming your Jewish identity as you all referred to. Finding a joyful connection, I hope, in all of the great dimensions of our tradition, the love of mercy and compassion, the pursuit of justice, the commitment to learning our ways, our heritage, to joyfully observe it. Each of you in your own way. And my only hope is that you get to that just the way you've gotten to this day, which is intentionally and mindfully and full of love for your heritage and all that it represents. And in that sense, I think, you three, it is an easy commitment for you to make because this describes the sort of people you are already. You're three very young, special people. Indeed, I see Hannah, and that smile. I see Aiden, and that swagger. I see Sophie back there. All of you are such beloved young people in our community. You're participating in our Madrichin program, spending your Sunday mornings with those kids who look up to you so much, right? You're participating in teen events through Salty or BBYO, or at least rumor has it that Aiden now will be at all of them. I don't know who started this rumor. It's just a rumor, you know, things sometimes. I joke, but actually Sophie is already trying to recruit the unborn baby, so that shows you how serious she is. And I know that all of you are also talented in your various extracurricular and curricular pursuits. You're all artists, each of you in your own way, which is really cool. Whether it's vibe or dance or visual arts, whatever the case might be, singing. They all have beautiful voices, by the way. Did you notice that? pretty wonderful. I can't take any credit for that. I just have to say about the three of you that I think your passion is truly contagious, which means that your Jewish passion is very contagious, which means that you're now positioned to be not just your own Jewish person charting your own Jewish path, but also a leader for the kids who look up to you, a leader amongst your peers, a leader in your Jewish life, in your family. I also want to point out that you're each part of a strongly connected, multi-generational Jewish family. And that's something that we can see around us today. And that certainly we saw, in the Mervine Schiff family earlier this month, Liv, when you became bat mitzvah and your family came from all over. It's a really incredible gift. And I hope that all of the parents here see what can be reaped when what you sow is so beautiful and such deep commitment. So I love looking at confirmands at your families. I love seeing people who are just from our community and aren't related to you, but are proud of you anyway and are here to celebrate with you too. And I just want you all to know how proud I am of you. I know Dr. C feels the same way. I'm going to miss our weekly confirmation class. My sofa will never quite be the same after you all claim your cushion. It will always be there for you to hang out on. And yes, grab a quick nap if you ever need it, because I have never met busier young people than these young people. They have so many commitments, and I always want Temple Beth Tikvah to be a place of restfulness and refreshment for you too. And most importantly, I can't wait to see you in JChat next year, where we will begin with a Kahoot quiz that Sophie and Aiden will get super competitive about, and probably Hannah will win. And so, so I can't wait to see you in the next phase of your Jewish lives together. I'll be there for the next couple of years. I'm going to invite everybody to please rise. We're going to open the Ark. Our confirmation students are going to come to me one by one for a special blessing. Okay. We're going to invite Hannah and Sophie and then Aiden. So Hannah, you're on first.
We will sing sing of Lord and chant eternal praise to you. Our heavenly King, our heavenly King, may your spirit be upon us. Every in every mouth, in every one. We will sing the praise of God. We will sing the praise of God and bless His holy name. Adore, 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 adore. Adonai, Baruch
We now have a special ritual, which includes a declaration of their formal intent to commit to Judaism, which you probably don't need to hear in order to believe, but we're going to do nonetheless. We're going to have an extra one too. Everybody can follow along in your packet.
Today we stand before you, our friends, our family, to dedicate ourselves to God, to Torah, and to the Jewish way of life. We embrace the teachings of our tradition that are set forth for us in the Torah. We thank you, Adonai, for the blessings that you have brought us to this moment. With love for God, Torah, and the community of Israel, we recite the words that proclaim our faith, just as our ancestors have done since ancient times. Shema Yisrael, Adonai, Adonai Echad.
Page 586, we begin the conclusion of our service with Aleinu Shabbat.
Bayom I've been grateful for the people to say we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more. And the people say one day, one day. It's not about winners. We don't lose, but they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood that hate. Keep on living. What is it, babe? Lose your way. Your way.
Sometimes in my tears I drown,
but I never let it get me down.
surround.
I know all too time, all I wanna wait for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want no more. There'll be no war, and our children will play one day. One day, all change, treat people the same. Stop with the violence, down with the hate. We'll take what we bring, I'm proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of my own. All I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and the children will play.
As we can all understand. Since it is one of the 3 times of year when excuse me, Yizkor is traditionally recited, we are going to have a brief Yizkor and share the names of all those in our community who have passed away within the last 12 months. So I understand maybe not everybody wants to be present for that service, so I thought I would give you a heads up. We can turn in our prayer books to page 576. Page 576. מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי ולחסר, בנאות דשא ירביצני, עמי מלוכות ינעלני, נפשי שובב, ינחני במגלי צדק למען שמו, גם כי אלך בגיא צר מוות, לא ירא רע כי אתה עמדי, שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני, תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי, דשנת בשמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה, אך טוב וחסד ידפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לברכני. Together we can read Psalm of David. Adonai is my shepherd, I lack nothing. God makes me lie down in green pastures. God leads me into water and places of repose. God renews my life. God guides me in right paths as befit God's name. Though I walk through the valley of deepest darkness, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You spread a table for me in full view of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My drink is abundant. Only goodness and steadfast love shall pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai for many years. At this time, we are aware of our family members and friends, our loved ones who passed away within the last 12 months, including Blake Maynard, Marjorie Calvert, Frank Toscano, Lester Horowitz, Annette Baslav Finger, Saul Gordon, Audrey Walser, Heather Smith, Henry Gettenberg, Esther Spiegel, Carol Gubitz, Janice Gavin, Charles Gavin, Ruth Ottenheimer, Phyllis Kaufman, Karen Flatley, Mikhail Levin, Gladys Handelman, Ed Sack, Florence Harf, and Stephen Rudnick. We'll take a few moments for silent meditation and reflection as we all meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Feel free to use the pages between 577 and 583 and find words that may be of comfort. This time, we also recognize those who are in a period of mourning and all those who are observing a yard site, remembering someone who passed away at this season in years gone by. And so I invite you to please rise and be recognized by our community if you wish, as I read your loved one's name. Please stay standing. Period of Shaloshim, we remember Ed Sack, Florence Harf, mother of Sue Grohl and Ted Langevin, and Stephen Rudnick, brother Cynthia and David Greenblatt, and uncle to Stacy and Dennis. We also observed the yard sites of Clara Goldberg, John Sack, Barbara Moss, Matthew Tolchin, Terry Brundage, Kate Doroff, Herman Paul, Alice Epstein, Alex Morales, Benjamin Seligman, Lucille Crumby, Jerome Buzzy Levin, Francis Walker, Stella Bagish, and Stanley Groves. I invite everyone to please rise and turn to page 582. שוכן ממרומים, אמצעי מנוחה נכונה, תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים. ונשמות יקירנו ויקירותינו שהלכו לעולמם. בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתם, אדוני ונחלתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבם, ונאמר אמן. The rising of the sun and its going down, we remember that. The blowing of the wind and the chill of winter, the opening of buds and the rebirth of spring, and the blueness of the sky and the warmth of summer,
We remember that.
rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn,
We remember that.
the beginning of the year and when it ends,
We remember that.
when we are weary and in need of strength, when we are lost and sick at heart,
We remember that.
when we have joys we yearn to share,
We remember that.
So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. Page 598, Morris Touch. Yitgadol v'yitadash v'yirabah v'yalmad v'yifrat v'yitei v'yamlich v'yitei v'chayechom v'yamich v'chayei v'chavit Yisrael v'agalam v'zman hariv v'yamach v'hei shmei Rabban v'rach v'olam v'yamech v'yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitmahar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudshan v'yichud Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'lema v'yiru v'nei. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yiru v'nei. Oseh shalom v'yomah, u'yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. In the source of peace, bring peace into our world and comfort into the hearts of the bereaved. Together we say, Amen. See, Lizzie Sharp is our board reader tonight, in addition to Proud Mama. So please come on up.
Everybody. And lots of to our commands tonight. A warm welcome to all of our guests. My name is Lizzie Sharp, and I am the Social Justice Chair of the board, as well as Hannah's mother. Please join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for a tour study led by our own Dr. C. The Zoom links are in your inbox. We're also calling all gardeners for the TBT Landscaping Committee, which is seeking volunteers to assist with a variety of projects as needs arise within the grounds portion of our renovation. Details, again, are in your inbox. Parents of religious school students, please remember to send in your religious school registration to the office at tbtshoreline.org. In your inbox, again, in your inbox. Again, Shabbat Shalom and also to our kiddos.
For all of our confirmants, you might notice some psychedelically wrapped gifts that have been just sitting there tantalizingly. Each of you has a copy of the Tanakh, of the Hebrew Bible, which is embossed forever with your English and Hebrew names, because you have left an imprint on Torah as it unfolds, and Torah has left an imprint and will continue on you. So you each get a present, you each get a certificate. Dr. C has them. I'll give you your certificates. That's for you. And that's for you. That's for you. There's nothing else for us to do except for to celebrate you, and the celebration will begin momentarily next door, where we will go to make kiddush, to indulge in delicious cheesecake, both traditional and vegan, as I understand. And before then, we have a closing song, which our class has prepared. Everybody can participate in, the words of which are in your booklet. Yesterday, child came out to wander.
the dragonfly inside her heart. Fearful and the sky was full of thunder. Tearful. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're counting on the carousel of time. We can't turn, we can only look behind from where we came and go round.
Somebody get close to that microphone so we can hear you guys.
And the child moved 10 times round the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like when you're older must be 10. And promises of someday.
So we all sing together.
And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captain on a carousel time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came. Go round and round and round, circle. 16 springs, 16 summers gone now. Till you drag your feet too slow, circles and the seasons, they go round and round. The painted ponies go up and down. We're dancing on the carousel time. You can turn, you can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and circle. Through death, awesome grandeur coming true. There'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams, and plenty. Before the nights we fall here. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captain on the carousel. We can return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round, circle. Last chance, everybody. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captain on the carousel time. We can return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round in a circle and go circle.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Chag Sameach. Let's go make kiddush.